Hey, I'm Dave Baxter from Avalanche City, and you're watching the AU review.
Well, welcome back to Australia.
Thanks.
You're on the road right now with Conrad.
I am.
How are the shows going?
The shows have been really good. Yeah, I mean, I really like playing to Australian audiences. Yeah, really, really good. Fun shows.
How long's it been since you were last here?
I think 2 years.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of embarrassing. I should have come back.
Well, I'm sure a lot of Australian artists could say the same thing about going to New Zealand.
Oh,
so.
more Australian artists. We don't get enough Australian artists in New Zealand.
That's a longer discussion.
Yeah.
But it's good to have you back, and of course it's well timed with your new album just released last month. I guess to start with, how are you finding the reception to the songs so far, especially in the live environment?
Really good. So interestingly enough, this is like the first time that I've been playing the songs live. I did one little show in New Zealand, just like a quiet little release show, and then now is the first time that I'm playing with like a band setup. So it's gone down really good, and people love it. It's a nice little boost to self-confidence that people like the new songs.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps make things easier. With kind of the production for the record, you got to work with some pretty special people. Can you tell us a little bit about who worked on the record with you?
Yeah, well, I was pretty lucky because I was lucky in the first case because I just got to do the album the same way that I did the first album, so I just recorded it by myself and played most of the instruments myself.
You say most. Was there anything you didn't play?
Yeah, there's a few things. I was a little more honest this time, and I got a friend in to play some drums because I'm not really a drummer, and also some piano as well. So that was good. And but I was able to put pretty much all the budget into a really good mix engineer. So I got Chris Waller from Death Cab to mix it, and he's been one of my it's just a production person that I've looked up to for a really long time. So it was really exciting to get him on board.
Well, Death Cab's been a band there's been a lot of similarities pointed out between your sort of songwriting style and Ben's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I love Chris Waller's approach to production and his the way that he thinks about music. So it was really good. It was quite weird when he answered the door of the studio for the first time. It was just like, oh crap, there's Chris Wallace right there.
And that's when you threw up everywhere.
Yeah, I think I blacked out.
How far back do the songs go? What was the sort of gestation period for this record, and how does that compare to your last release?
It's the songs for this record span a really long time. So yeah, and I wrote the first album pretty much in 9 months. So I wrote it so fast, and the second album just took so long that it was just so strange. I don't think I've ever spent this long working on any one project. So it was quite a difficult thing to do. And I thought that the second album would be really easy because the first album was just I didn't even think about it; it just kind of happened. And the second album was just yeah, it took a long time for me to figure out what I wanted to say and a new angle on it, because I didn't want to do the same thing again. So a lot of the time was spent just trying to figure that out.
And what do you put that down to? Obviously you were touring a lot after the last record, and more so than you would have been before the first one. So.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I actually had at any point in time, I pretty much had a whole album ready to go. But it just took a really long time for me to feel good about the album. So yeah, it was just, and even to the point where the whole album was done and mixed. I'd already been over in Seattle hanging out with Chris, and then it was about to go out to mastering the next week, and I wrote Inside Out, and I was like, the whole album's completely done, but I think I need to put a new song on there. So like it was even like it never really felt done until Inside Out was on there. It almost felt like I was waiting for something else. So that's part of the reason why I was just never quite ready to say it's done.
Well, as they say, genius doesn't come overnight, except apparently with your first record. So.
Yeah. I would not say the first record is genius, but I'll take that. Thank you.
What's happening for you after these run of dates?
Well, I'm going back to New Zealand to do a couple of shows. I've got a New Zealand tour planned, and that's happening actually at the same time as the Conrad tour. So I fly back there, start the New Zealand tour, come back to Australia, finish off the Conrad tour, and then I fly back to New Zealand to finish that off.
So you'll get a few frequent flyer points off this tour for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Get that gold card if you don't already have it. And as you kind of spend more time on the road now, do you ever write on the road? Does that, do you ever get inspired by your environment in that respect?
Yeah, I do write a lot on the road. Oddly enough, I don't keep a lot of what I write on the road. I don't know why. But I do love writing. Like, it's just new places like inspire new feelings and thoughts and stuff like that, which is really good for songwriting. And also there's like downtime, obviously. Yeah, it's interesting. I did write a lot on the road. There's a few things that I wrote Keep Finding a Way off the new album. I wrote that in an airplane and held the laptop up to my mouth and like looked around to make sure no one was watching, and then like sang into the laptop. But I didn't
gone into the bathroom. There would have been some natural acoustics in
there.
there.
A bit weird though. You know what? Like taking a laptop into a bathroom. What's that guy doing? But I don't keep a lot of it. I don't know why. It felt it took a little while for me to like get comfortable with songwriting again, and that only happened when I kind of got back home and spent a little bit of time hanging out, like in a normal, comfortable environment.
Well, I can think of one thing that they would have thought you were doing with a laptop in a bathroom, but I think we'll leave it at that.
Your mind, not mine. I'll say that.
Well, I really appreciate your time. Congratulations on the record.
Cool.
And thanks for joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks.